stuff like it's something beneficial for you, but yet it's killing you. It's giving you heart ailments. It's giving you cancer. It's destroying your immune system. Stuff that was set up naturally for you to be able to contend with, it's destroying it. Go ahead, brother.
Medical historians have finally come to the reluctant conclusion that the great flu epidemic of 1918 was solely attributable to the widespread use of vaccines. It was the first war in which vaccination was compulsory for all servicemen. The Boston Herald reported that 47 soldiers had been killed by the vaccination in 1 month. As a result, the military hospitals were filled not with wounded combat casualties, but with casualties of the vaccine. The epidemic was called the Spanish influenza, a deliberately misleading appellation which was intended to conceal its origin. This flu epidemic claimed 20 million victims.
How many?
20 million victims. Those who survived it were the ones who had refused the vaccine.
There you go. The information is here, people. You just have to listen to it. Go ahead.
In recent years, annual recurring epidemics of flu are called the Russian flu for some reason. The Russians never protest, perhaps because the Rockefellers make regular trips to Moscow to lay down the party line. The perils of vaccination were already known. Plain Talk magazine notes that during the Franco-Prussian War, every German soldier was vaccinated. The result was that 53,288 otherwise unhealthy men developed smallpox. The death rate was high. In what is known as, quote, the Great Swine Flu Massacre, the President of the United States, Gerald Ford, was enlisted to persuade the public to undergo a national vaccination campaign.
What is Joe Biden doing? He's getting people on a national vaccination campaign. Nothing has changed. Everything just goes from one cycle to the next. Go ahead, brother.
The moving force behind the scheme was a $135 million windfall profit for the major drug manufacturers.
It's all about money, people.
They had a swine flu vaccine which suspicious pig raisers had refused to touch, fearful it might wipe out their crop.
The farmers didn't want to inject their pigs with this vaccination because during fear that it would kill their crops. So yeah, so that's why they wouldn't inject their pig, the filthy pig. They wouldn't inject it with a vaccine.
You want me to get
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
Yeah, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past.
So there's nothing new under the sun, because this stuff was done way back during the time of Baal Peor and during the time of Moloch, when people were getting vaccinated, when the other nation was getting vaccinated. So that's why the Most High put boundaries for Israel not to deal with these other nations and their practices. And you see the results of that now, because you're sacrificing your children with these vaccinations, and they coming for your children, a 6-month-old baby getting vaccinated. Come on, people. And you allowing this to happen. Why? Because you're uneducated and you don't do any studying. Go ahead.
They had a swine flu vaccine which suspicious pig raisers had refused to touch, fearful it might wipe out their crop. The manufacturers had only tried to get $80 million from the swine breeders. Balked in this sale, they turned to the other market, humans.
Wait a minute. Read that again.
The manufacturers had only tried to get $80 million from the swine breeders. Balked in this sale, they turned to the other market, humans.
So they went away from using the pigs as the sacrificial test subjects to human beings. Is that sick or what? And it's still going on right now. They're using human beings as test subjects. Go ahead.
The impetus for the national swine flu vaccine came directly from the Disease Control Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Perhaps coincidentally, Jimmy Carter, a member of the Trilateral Commission.
Now this is before Carter became president. You know, he's a member of the Trilateral Commission, which is another form of the Illuminati. Go ahead.
A member of the Trilateral Commission was then planning his presidential campaign in Georgia. The incumbent president, Gerald Ford, had all the advantages of a massive bureaucracy to aid him in his election campaign, while the ineffectual and little-known Jimmy Carter offered no serious threat in the election. Suddenly, out of Atlanta came the Center of Disease Control plan for a national immunization campaign against swine flu. The fact that there was not a single known case of this flu in the United States did not deter the medical monopoly from their scheme. The swine breeders had been shocked by the demonstrations of the vaccine on a few pigs, which had collapsed and died.
So when they injected their pigs with the vaccine, the pigs just collapsed and died. And a pig eat anything. So when you inject something in the pig and he dies instantaneously, you know something is wrong. Go ahead, brother, finish it up.
One can imagine the anxious conferences in the headquarters of the great drug firms until one bright young man remarked, well, if the swine breeders won't inject it into their animals, our only other market is to inject it into the people.
And that's exactly what they do. They inject it into people. So you all are test subjects, man. You all are the clinical trials, because any type of drug that's supposed to hit the market is supposed to go to clinical trials. And that stuff takes years to pass.
Right.
And there's supposed to be a lot of regulations that go on before you to put a drug out for people consumption. But as you can see, they haven't done that with the COVID-19 vaccination. It didn't go through any clinical trials because it was under Operation Warp Speed. Yeah. Because when COVID first hit, what they said, well, we years away from a vaccination.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, bam!
It's here.
It's here.
Anything goes.
And people lining up in droves, and still are lining up in droves to take these death shots. And we got another article Brother Lamont is going to read that's going to tie everything all together. And this is a valuable piece of information that the establishment will never hate that this information is coming out. So don't be surprised if once that video come up, if they shut it down immediately, because anytime you speak out against these vaccinations, you know, they shut you down. And so that's why a lot of the people, that's in cahoots, that's been compromised, because they scared to come out and tell the people the truth.
That's right.
Because they most high not with them. That's why they don't, even a lot of Israelite groups are scared to touch on these topics. You have to talk about this, because it affects Israel more so than it affects anybody else, because we're the first people that they use to make these experimentation vaccinations. We're the first people that they use. So it's imperative that our people speak up about this. Go ahead, brother.
This article is entitled, American Government Poised to Unleash, quote unquote, Angel of Death, Smallpox Bioweapon to Create Perpetual Crisis. It's written November 24th, 2021, written by Ethan Huff. Natural news. Billionaire eugenist Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. We've been talking about him a lot lately. So here he goes again. What does Bill Gates have installed and has planned for the American public this time, brother? Go ahead.
Billionaire eugenist Bill Gates is already signaling the arrival of his next plandemic, which appears to involve the intentional release of a smallpox bioweapon.
Didn't we read that in here? We read about smallpox and murder by injection. So guess what? Eugenicist Bill Gates again, Bill Gates was also responsible for COVID-19. Bill Gates is also responsible for owning a lot of bought up all the farmland in America. Why? Because the GMO foods who's responsible for it? Bill Gates. So Bill Gates is a major eugenicist in Earth of depopulation. So Bill Gates strikes again. Go ahead.
The mainstream media has been littered as of late with stories about mysterious smallpox vials and other things related to smallpox. We also reported about 8 years ago that the federal government was stockpiling smallpox vaccines for some reason.
Just years ago, they were stockpiling these vials of smallpox. Because why? There's always a plan in dealing with Esau. There's always a plan with dealing with Esau. So now we're going to find out what his plan is. Go ahead.
Just the other day, a worker at a laboratory outside of Philadelphia supposedly stumbled upon about 15 vials of smallpox, something inside of a refrigerator. The FBI and other federal agencies reportedly intervened and are conducting an investigation. Then, the Daily Mail, from the UK publication, reported on a warning from Gates, who claims that, quote-unquote, terrorists himself are planning to unleash a smallpox bioweapon.
And they tell you what they're going to do.
Right.
They don't hide anything. This is the problem with the American people. This is why we say the so-called Americans are the dumbest people on the planet Earth, because they tell you what they're going to do to you. But yet you want to go watch Ohio State and Michigan. You want to watch Duke, Carolina. You want to do all this fun. You want to go to the nightclubs. When they sit there and tell you, we're going to kill you and we're going to kill your kids. Read it again. He said he's going to kill you. Unbelievable how dumb these so-called people call Americans. You guys are dumb as hell. Go ahead.
Then, the Daily Mail from the UK reported on a warning from Gates, who claimed that terrorists himself are planning to unleash a smallpox bioweapon. This, according to Gates, requires that governments spend billions of dollars to, quote-unquote, prevent future pandemics. It just so happens that Gates addressed all of this at his Event 201 initiative, which conveniently occurred right before the Wuhan coronavirus, COVID-19, was first announced by the mainstream media.
They have everything planned out to a T. Everything. Years of planning, man. And they got everything planned to a T. Go ahead. Unbelievable.
This plandemic exercise, which occurred in October 2019, laid the groundwork for the Chinese virus. Now, Gates is laying the groundwork for a smallpox plandemic.
So get ready for that. So you got the Omicron variant get ready to come.
Right.
And now what Bill Gates got here? Smallpox?
Smallpox
So
plandemic.
look forward to that, American people. Go ahead.
Now Gates is laying the groundwork for a smallpox plandemic, which we speculate will soon go viral. Pun intended.
I don't think we need to buy anything, but is there anything good in there? I didn't get a chance to read it. No, that's not really that. But this is going to be a series of lessons regarding the medical monopoly. I have so much information that I was able to obtain on this. We could do a series on this for about a year, because it's each book is about 300 pages worth of valuable information regarding the history of the medical society and what they do, and just we have all that information right here available. And we're going to do a series on it. This is just the basic stuff right now, just to get you introduced to what's going on from the historical part to bringing up to modern day perspective. Eustace Mullins in his book Murder by Injections also went into, talking about BLPR, Molich, and that's biblical history, that this stuff is nothing new under the sun. It has always been done. Right. We as Israelites have sacrificed our kids and also injecting ourselves with deadly jabs, that we're not supposed to do as Israelites, because our body's the temple of the Most High. So we have a lot of work to do, Israel, because we're in the last days. And if you want salvation from the Most High, you have to really make a choice in which way you want to go. Either you're going to stand up for righteousness, you're going to support and be the man and woman that the Most High wants you to be, or you're going to succumb to the system. Because what they have in store for you, as you can see, is they're going to depopulate society, number one, and they're setting up their AI technology, which we'll be bringing more information on that as well. So there's so much information that we have, and we probably won't have a lot of time to get a lot of it done because we in the last days, so we might not even get a chance to bring it out. But the Most High definitely put the spirit on us to bring this piece of information out, because it's important. Because, they coming for your kids. You got young kids, and it's imperative, man, that we do something about it. We stand up and we be faithful to the Most High and be strong. And as a nation of people, we must, come back to our laws, statutes, and commandments and understand our tribes. And we not doing that because we got a lot of sellouts amongst our people that's keeping us away from doing that. But whatever information that we find, we're going to bring it out to the masses of people and let them know. And then it's up to you whether you use the information or not. But you got the information. Mm-hmm. You take it back to your families and have conversations over the dinner table. And they letting you know, people, that they ready for war. This is a spiritual war. This is a biological war that they have instituted. As you can see, they letting you know that they coming for you. We are in a time of war, and not the big one, not World War III, but they've let you know that they introducing their bioweapons to try to kill us. And they've been doing that for years. They've been doing that hundreds of years. And I don't know what else we can tell you, Israel. We're going to continue to research, and whatever we find, we'll bring it to you. But you have to do your part. You have to do your part. You have to do your own research. And these are perilous times that we live in Israel, so I don't think you should take this information lightly. And it's really time for you to hunker down and to come back and recognize who you are as Israelites, because that's your only saving grace in these last days, Israel. There's nothing else that can save you. There's not an amount of money that can save you. I don't care what kind of charities you give. That's not going to buy your way into favor with the Most High. Right. If you're not an Israelite or practicing Israelite and standing up for the Most High's program and letting the world know who you are as an Israelite, then there's nothing else for you to do but death. So we're going to close with that. And if any other brother got a comment that you'd like to comment about, go ahead.
I like to read the scripture. It fit perfectly what you said about they bring that second plague, the SARS.
Yeah.
And we've been saying that, this COVID-19, it's just the beginning. And when you think this COVID-19 is going to end, more variants are going to hit, or the Most High is going to send more plagues. This is the beginning of the end.
Right.
So I'm just going to read 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 1 through 6. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
Beautiful.
Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee. that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful should die in their unfaithfulness.
Beautiful.
Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world.
Listen up. Most High said he will be plagues among the world. And you're seeing that now. You're seeing all kinds of plagues. Old plagues, new plagues. Go ahead.
The sword,
The sword,
famine,
famine.
death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled.
And this is what's going on right now. That is so beautiful and profound. I mean, that scripture sums everything up that we just did and what we read about. And at some point, you have to realize that the Most High is very aware of what's going on. And the Most High did say he's going to cut the time short for the elect's sake. So we in this time. At any given moment, that order can be given and we can see our brother Yahushua return in this earth and bring us on home. And that's the whole object of why we do these lessons, man, because we ready to go home.
That's right.
You know, we tired of, being slaves here and paying taxes to Caesar. You know, we want to be free and to be able to worship our Father the way we're supposed to be. You know, taking these vaccinations, our kids being vaccinated, and they killing us with these jabs. You know, we want to go home. That's all we want. We want Esau to let us go home. Let Esau stay here and play with his medicine and continue to do the wicked things that he's doing. We don't want any part of that.
Right.
We don't want any part of that. We just want to be able to worship our power with all our hearts and with all our soul. And they've taken that away from us. And so that's what we strive for, and that's what we seek. And we're going to continue to try to get as much information as we possibly can, and we're going to bring it out. Whether you like it or not, we're going to continue to do the research and bring out this information. So we're going to close with that, and we hope you got something out of the lesson today. And like I said, we're going to be doing a series since it's getting cold now, so we probably will limit our time on the street. So we're gonna be doing various series on a lot of different things that's going on because we at the end of time. So a lot of the great prophets spoke about these things, and all this stuff is being manifested as we speak.
That's right.
So the Bible's a real book, people. It's not a fairy tale, like you all like to think. And you say the Bible contradicts itself, and we hear all the euphemisms that you use against the Bible, but all that stuff is false. Because the Bible's predicting a lot of these things that's about to happen, and we read it to you. They spoke about it, the stuff with Moloch and all those different things. This stuff is still going on right now. There's nothing new under the sun. And with that, we say shalom and death to America.
Death to America.